So we're now in Port Arthur on the July 1904 turn. This is turn 4 of the game, and starting with the Japanese player. And the Japanese received some reinforcements to the theater, and the 6th Infantry Division and the 8th and 10th Reserve Infantry Brigades land at Chuang Ho, and these are using naval transport. Then the 1st and 4th Infantry Divisions fall back along the isthmus just to the north of Dalny, while the 2nd and the Guard Infantry Divisions advance upon the East Siberian Division. Meanwhile, the forces in the north are trying to surround the Russians at the Tai Tao River. Let's go down to the map and see what happens next. As shown in the picture, both the 2nd and the Guard divisions are supported by heavy artillery, and these attack the 7th Siberian Division, which is entrenched in the hills just north of Port Arthur. The Japanese are repulsed and lose 2 more steps. The Russians decide to use the retreat option, and they abandon the trenches in the hills to save themselves. I'll just make a note here. The heavy artillery that's depicted here represents 5 artillery regiments that were used by the Japanese forces. They're just all collected together in one counter. These are large guns, and if the Russians can destroy them, they get 5 victory points. So the Japanese player has to keep that in mind. This next picture shows the area to the north where the Japanese launch an attack against the entrenched Russians on the Tai Tao River. The 9th East Siberian is defending here, but it's at 4-to-1 odds. So the Russians end up taking a step loss and retreating, and the Japanese close the flank somewhat, advancing after combat and destroying some of the trenches. And this brings the score to Russia 16 victory points, Japan 8 victory points. Then we go to the Russian portion of the turn. The Russians receive some reinforcement, so the 72nd Reserve Infantry Division comes on board near Mukden. Then near Port Arthur, the 7th East Siberian Division redeploys from where you see him on the map to Port Arthur itself. The Russian 72nd Reserve Division builds an entrenchment at the supply depot on the Northern Railroad, and there are no counterattacks. So we go to strategic movement, and the Japanese commander decides to move the 6th Division along with the 8th and the 10th Reserve Brigades to the port, from the port, I should say, at Chuang Ho to the Tang River, which is about 100 miles to the north. The Russians do not use any strategic redeployment again this turn, and the Russians collect 4 victory points for their objective hexes that they control. So this brings the score up to Russia 20, Japan 8. And that brings turn 4 to a close. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned if you'd like to see what happens in August. Have a great day.